Three, two, one, and we are live. So what's going on, Grey Wolf Gamer?
Hey, how you doing? How much? Interesting last 2 weeks, that's for sure. Mostly Nintendo stuff,
Yeah,
or lack thereof, I guess, depending on your perception of what they announced. But I kind of called it. I kind of guessed that this wouldn't be an actual upgrade, just a LCD upgrade. Um, or
I
sorry,
thought
OLED.
it would have been something as far as the upgrade. I didn't think it would be anything major because that's not the way Nintendo's never done that.
Right.
They wait until the next generation and then they go all out. They've always been that way. So, but they've always also, at least with the handhelds, throughout the life cycle, they have did little improvements and different things for them. And so cool. I'm happy with it because technically I don't own a Switch. I bought
Right.
one house for my son, and even though I have my own dock for it, it's his. And I've been saying forever that I needed to get one. So wow, this is perfect timing because I'm planning that trip to Thailand and then the Philippines, and now I'm going to have a Switch with me. How sweet is that?
That's nice. That's perfect timing. And
Yeah.
you got a nice fancy OLED screen too.
Oh, yeah. And I was thinking I wasn't going to be. I was going to try to be over there around Octoberish, but now it's looking probably not till January. Just to the fact of the COVID and my
Right.
own health. I'm still facing open heart surgery, so as long as they don't kill me on the table, I will be over there when they lift the travel restrictions.
Sure. I wish you luck with that.
Yeah, and it'll
You
all
know.
be good, man. As far as the surgery stuff, the docs tell me I'm going to be fine. It's they do this a lot now, where it used to be a big deal like in the '70s. It's now really commonplace. They
That's
take a
good.
little tiny little piece of artery out of one of my legs, out of my left leg, and then they're going to just put clip a piece out of my heart and put that one in. So cool. Yeah. Anyway, let's not talk about that. That's
Yeah,
that's.
fine. But
Um,
yeah, no, and also too, when you finally get the Switch, you can download all those shmups
yeah,
they
you
have
can
available.
give me a list all the shops from side, so I don't even have to search. I'll just be able to go to them and download them. So
Yep,
yeah,
quite a few.
I don't want to have to even search for them.
Say what you will about the Switch, but it's a great retro machine. It
Oh
really
yeah,
is.
I can't wait to have that thing setting up right and play shops vertically.
Yep.
Fuck yeah, I'm all about that.
Yeah, it's really nice. Definitely, it's one of its strengths, and really, that's enough for me.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be perfect for me as far as like the travel and stuff.
Hey, just side note. So, have you seen Loki yet?
Yes, I have.
Cool. What do you think of it?
I like it. I enjoy it. It's not great. I don't think any of these Marvel movies have been great, but they've all been really, really good. And what's more amazing, they've been good in different ways.
Yep.
I like that. It's not just cut and paste. They've been really different. Uh, Whereas if you watch some of those superhero shows on the CW, they all kind of felt cut and paste.
Yeah, they follow a formula. Yeah,
The
formulaic. Yeah.
powers were different, of course, for the various heroes, but the shows themselves, and I guess they were made by the same guy, but so are these Marvel shows. I mean, let's be honest. Um, Kevin Feige, whatever his name is, he's producing them all, and a lot of the same people. And even the guy that did the other Marvel television shows on Netflix, which I thought they booted him to the curve, but I guess it was just one of the guys that was like the thorn in the side of doing good work. But one of the other guys also worked on them that apparently did good work, and he's part of these shows. I've just noticed his name in the credits. Is why I'm saying it for Loki. But yeah, what do you think about it?
I like it. I like it a lot so far.
Yeah,
I'm really enjoying. I like the fact that they're basically setting up without spoiling anything, but they're basically setting up the whole multi-dimensional thing, and you can kind of see where they're going with the next
yeah,
phase.
And then
Without spoiling it.
they'll do the same thing in Spider-Man for the big movie.
Oh yeah. I think from what this is rumor, so take this with a grain of salt. You may have heard the same thing, or maybe you can confirm it. But supposedly Loki's supposed to lead right up into the next Doctor Strange movie.
Yeah, and so is the Spider-Man.
Yeah, so that should be interesting.
And actually, I think Doctor Strange is in the Spider-Man movie. He's got a fairly sizable part. He basically takes over for Iron Man as the mentor figure.
Yeah, well, that's a good choice.
Yeah. Well, they kind of did got quite a bit in the comic too over the years.
The What If thing that they're coming out with looks interesting too.
Yeah, and to be honest, I'm not a big fan of What If. I never liked it in the comics because I want Iron Man to be Iron Man. I don't need Iron Man to be Doctor Strange. I don't need, but I get it. Why people like that stuff. So, and sometimes it can be really entertaining too, particularly when they, what if like a bad guy wins and then now they're the ruler of everything? And
yeah, it's a nice little change of pace.
Yeah, we'll see how they do from episode to episode, though. I think some might be really good and some might be average, but. And again, it's animation, so this ain't costing them much at all. Other than, I guess they're still paying some big bucks for the correct voice actors.
Yeah, I noticed that they did have the, but that's fine. That adds a little authenticity to it. Oh, I can't speak tonight.
The Avengers game, I think more than anything else, other than it's just not a very good game. But having the wrong voices, it's hard to get past that.
It really is. Yeah. It really is.
I know it shouldn't be, but it is. I can't help it. It's
like I can okay, well, like the cartoons, like the Marvel cartoons, I can forgive it to a point. Like I get it, but yeah. I mean, Iron Man will always be Robert Downey Jr. to me, and Chris Evans is Cap, and Chris Hemsworth is Thor, and so on and so forth. So now it's hard to get away from that.
Watch one of those Fantastic Four movies again. I guess it was the first one, or was it the Silver Surfer one? I don't know. It was one of those two. And I'm like, how did Marvel look at Chris Evans and go, "That's our Captain America"? Because I'm sorry, I mean, not that he was bad or anything. I thought he was good as the Human Torch, but nothing in that movie made me think of him as and then he tried to be this amazing Captain America.
Well, whatever he did, or whatever he auditioned, he did it. He just nailed it.
Yeah, and he didn't really.
Somebody saw something in him that
I don't think he nailed the torch, but he was okay as a torch.
No. But I mean, he nailed the. I'm saying he probably nailed the audition for Captain America.
Yeah.
So
even giving him an audition, this is a guy that's already been over at Fox and been and you're like, wait a minute, you're going to take a guy that's already played a superhero? And not just once, he's done it in 2 movies, and they wasn't total flops. The first one actually made a decent amount of money for Fox. That's why they greenlit a sequel.
Right.
And you're going to pull him and make him your second biggest character, or one of the big 3 between him, Robert Downey Jr., and Thor. But, wow. They did that, and it worked, and it paid off huge dividends. Because that arc, even if you take the first one away, the first Avenger, and just go from Captain America, Winter Soldier, to the what was the next one? The big one with the big airport scene.
Civil War.
Yeah, Civil War, and then the last 2 big Avengers movies.
Infinity War and Endgame. Yep.
Yeah, that more than anyone else, that's Cap's arc. It just is. I'm sorry.
It really is. Well, it completes
a little bit of Robert Downey Jr.'s arc because he was the very first movie and throughout everything. But the truth is, if you put in those movies I just said, they make a perfect arc, and I've done it multiple times now, and it's like, wow.
Yeah, and he had a nice wrap up to his character.
Yeah,
I thought,
Well, I thought I would have just paid him. I'm like, I wouldn't let him go. Because you look at these next wave. I'm sorry, I'm not. And I think Black Widow's fine. I haven't seen it yet, but I want to talk to him about that because it's making some serious money considering it in these COVID times. Of course,
Yeah.
so did Fast Nine. Fast Nine did decent business, but it had that normal huge fall off. But it ain't gonna make no billion. And then what? The last 4 or 5 Fast movies all crossed a billion without blinking an eye. Uh, so yeah, we're still in COVID. It's not over, and yet what could possibly what most people thought was one of the weakest of the Marvel movies, being Black Widow. Man, it's pulling in some decent money. Is it going to make $1 billion? No, but for these
It doesn't
times,
have to. It just has to make a profit.
yeah, and it's going to make a huge profit. But it looks pretty good to me. Although I think there is some problems with it, but I tend to overlook some of that stuff. I think we talked about it before. I thought Captain Marvel was going to be a horrible movie and didn't want anything to do with it. Other than I'll give it a chance and watch it, and I did. And I kind of liked it.
Yeah, so did I. I'm the same way.
It was pretty good.
Marvel, even their weaker ones, they seem to have a pretty good grip on entertainment. That's the important thing.
The only ones that I thought were just flat out bad. I mean, they still did good box office wise, but they were bad. Was the second Thor movie, and I didn't care much for the second Iron Man movie.
Yeah, I agree. Although I thought the second Thor movie was better than a lot of people gave it credit for. Like, I liked it in its own way, but I mean, yeah, the second Iron Man movie was just I don't know.
The casting of the main villain. I'm not talking about the businessman villain.
No, you're talking about Mickey Rooney
not
Mickey Rooney.
Horribly cast.
Rook.
Yeah, Mickey Rourke. He just was horribly miscast in that. I'm sorry, but he can't play a Russian scientist. It just didn't work. He comes off as a thug, as a kind of a low-life type criminal, and he's great as that. But he just did not feel right as that character, I thought, anyway.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, yeah. And Whiplash could have been a better character, too.
Yeah. But,
oh, well.
You
know what? They recovered.
yeah, but the action sequences in Iron Man 2 were amazing.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what trumped Thor 2, is the action sequences in Thor's 2 wasn't as good as I had hoped. But, it was still fine. I mean, it did all right. All of them's been great movies. I mean, but I just worry about this next wave. But maybe I shouldn't worry because they seem like they know what they're doing.
I don't know if the TV shows are anything to go by so far. I think they're going to be okay.
Well, the TV shows have been the previous characters that we knew and kind of loved. And
well, yeah, but at least
Eternals, I think the Eternals might be the first one that I just don't watch. Maybe if it shows up on Disney Channel at some point, and I ain't having to pay for it, and I may watch it and give it a chance there. I'm not buying that 4K Blu-ray or going to the theater to see the Eternals. I don't like most of the casting of it. There's a couple people in it I think are pretty good, but overall, I just like,
I don't know about it either. I agree. We'll see.
I love Shang-Chi, but I felt like they shit on Iron Fist so bad that I can't like Shang-Chi because of that. It bugs me. And that's just me being petty and sad. But,
I really like Iron Fist. I thought it was really good.
Iron Fist movie so bad, not Shang-Chi. I mean, Shang-Chi I'm sorry, it was a garbage comic. It didn't run very long, and no one liked it. People loved Iron Fist, and especially when they did the Heroes for Hire. Holy shit. That's what Marvel should have said. You know what? We're not going to worry about these series that was on Netflix. Let's just take those two there and fix anything that was wrong with it and do a Heroes for Hire movie.
Sure. Why not?
That'd be awesome. They're not going to do that because there was too much right-wing hate on Iron Fist because he was white. I mean, it's sad. They just piled on him. But he wasn't. That's what's so stupid. I could understand if it would have been. That'd be like Shang-Chi casting some white guy to play Shang-Chi. Would understand the
Yeah, but
outfit.
Danny Rand was white.
Exactly. So why would they do something
What's
about
the
it?
problem?
Yeah. But they wanted an Asian cast in that role. And I understand that they'd have cast an Asian, that would have been fine. It would not have screwed up the story any. Danny Rand doesn't have to be white. But he was. It's not like, yeah, whatever. I don't get stuff like this sometimes in this.
I get like, okay, so like when they changed the uh oh God, what the heck? My brain is in in Doctor Strange, the great one.
The
Uh,
female made her
yeah,
female.
yeah. So okay, so although although ultimately I enjoyed it and I had no problem with it, I get that. I get the backlash there because originally the character was Asian and it was a male. Okay, fine. But Iron Fist, just to kind of put out, not to beat a dead horse here, it was true to the source material. So what the hell?
Yeah, it was.
Oh well, whatever.
I think because it was, even though it was Netflix, it was still a TV show and it wasn't proper Marvel, and they didn't have the backing of proper Marvel, meaning Feige and
Right.
movies. Uh, so they just let the media attack it, and yeah, it was messed up. But there's an agenda for stuff like that, and they look the other way because the chick playing that character in Doctor Strange, uh, she is a revered actress, and you're gender swapping. They're not looking at it as race swapping; they were looking at it as a gender swap. So that particular group of people were like, "Hell yeah, gender swap, great, that's what we want." So it got overlooked to an extent. There was a few things said or written about it, but not a lot. But man, they just shit on Iron Fist.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah, because that's actually a pretty decent show. The first season, when they did that other season, they got pretty bad. They shied away from it. And they're like, let's make this girl, his girlfriend in. Let's make her the star actually, and we'll put Iron Fist into the background. And yeah, that was horrible.
Uh, yeah, I know.
But that's the world we live in now. I was watching some clown. I don't know what his name is, but he was like, he tries to fight against all these groups that want to either race swap or gender swap characters and the whole woke thing and stuff. And I'm like, some of the stuff he says makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I'm like, dude, shut up. You can't say that stuff. I mean, and he was going off on like the LB, I don't even know how to say that, LBQT or LBTQ or
Plus. Yeah, no, I know what you
I mean,
mean.
these are people who've never been represented
GTT.
in a lot of movies, particularly superhero movies, and now they're getting put in stuff, and maybe rightly so. As a middle-aged to old white guy, it's not for me to say they shouldn't get put in stuff. It really isn't. And who's to say that kid that is that anyway, who already knows that he's like say a transsexual or whatever, or that he's flat out gay. Maybe he needs those. He needs that in a comic and characters, and there's nothing wrong with that. I honestly don't have a problem with it. The only thing I ever get pissed off about it is when they take a character, an already existing character, and then do that. It's like you start with a new character, and they just happen to be whatever.
So yeah, they do it just for the sake of doing it rather than because it's legitimately relevant. I get it. Yeah. I'm good with whatever they do.
His argument was
yeah.
I don't even remember his name, and I wouldn't say it even if I didn't remember it because I don't even credit. But his thing was about if you just put a new character in there, people won't accept it. But I don't believe that. I think if you do the character right, people will accept it. Uh, but I also get what he's saying, and I understand why. Hey, we need a Hispanic. We don't have a Hispanic hero. We need a Hispanic. Well, let's just make Miles Morales fucking Spider Man. Dude, that I was so butthurt over that for so many years. You have no idea. That was horrible. No, Peter Parker's fucking Spider Man.
Yeah, but now Miles Morales is like canon, and everybody loves him, and yeah, I know.
But over time,
I like Miles
I
personally.
that if the problem was, and I will admit to this, a lot of times when they do try to start out a new character from scratch, doesn't work for whatever reason, and nobody reads it, and it goes away. If you pick an established hero that's already got a massive fan base, then you're safe. Although, let's be honest, Miles Morales flopped in the comics. People that wasn't reading them. They canceled his runs a couple of times and kept trying to bring him back in different ways, but nobody really liked it. It wasn't until the little animation thing where they not the movie that was huge, but even before that, they had Miles on one of the Spider-Man cartoons. That was kind of accepted, and it was like it was okay the way they did it. But that was the problem I had with that movie. They had to make Peter Parker look shitty to kind of prop up Miles Morales, and I was like, man, that is just so wrong. But that was fucking Sony doing it.
I don't know. I mean, yeah. To me, that was just one Peter in the many universes.
Well, I thought that was like the Peter from the main universe, is my understanding, but maybe it wasn't. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I was more forgiving. More forgiving for that.
The movie. I liked the movie. I just didn't like the fact that they made Peter an ex-alcoholic with a beer gut and divorced. I'm like, please stop. There was no reason to go there. But we got somebody popping in. Here we go. Oh, it's Dragonheart Yobi. Hey, man, what's up?
Gentlemen, what's going on? How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Good, man. I'm crying about forced diversity in comics. I'm agreeing with the fact that it needs to be done, but then I'm turning around and crying about it. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay. Grey Wolf, how you doing, buddy?
Good. How you doing?
I'm just happy to see another day, man. I can't complain.
Awesome. Yeah, no, good. Hey, thanks for joining.
Oh, thank you. Hell yeah.
We had been on the comics and talking about Black Widow and Marvel. Then we went off on a long kind of tangent that ended up with I was complaining about in the Miles Morales movie where they made Peter Parker look crappy, and I was like, they didn't need to do that.
Oh, you talking about the into the Spider-Verse?
Yeah, it was like great, but why did they have to make Peter Parker kind of an idiot, with a beer gut and divorce? But that was just me. But that wasn't what I was complaining about. I was complaining about originally when they brought Miles Morales in. I was butthurt for years over that.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm that age, man. Peter Parker, when I was like 8 years old, 10 years old, that's when Spider-Man came out.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was 6 years old when Spider-Man debuted.
Right.
My growing up, that was my Spider-Man. So I didn't like the fact that they needed
all of our Spider-Mans actually.
They needed a Hispanic hero because there just wasn't any in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, well, you don't have to fucking take Spider-Man, make the original character. But on the flip side, I was also opposed to the argument of that when they make an original character these days, and I'm talking comics, I'm not about movies or anything else right now, just comics, they tend to fail. So they almost have to pick an established hero and then make it into new whatever character. So, I kind of understand it. I don't always like it, but I understand why they got to do that.
Right.
Yeah, man, it was deep. You got smack into some deep stuff.
Right. With the whole Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse, for me personally, it was dope to see. The movie was fantastic, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I didn't like how Peter Parker was shown. Like older, belly gut, lazy, lost base of his will to he basically lost himself. Yeah, but we already know this was a spot Peter Parker from a different alternate reality.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what I didn't get. That Gray will
Yeah.
just had mentioned that too, and I was like, oh, I just
Mm,
thought it was Spider Man from the main whatever, and I just didn't like the way they treated the character. But
right.
even prior to that, that's what we were discussing, and I realized that they needed an Hispanic duo because there wasn't any. You needed somebody of color to be. There wasn't very many. If you go back in the history of comics, you're talking Black
Said.
Panther,
Mm,
the Luke Cage,
uh,
uh, what's the chick from the X Men? The Weather, was she even black in the comics? I don't know.
Storm.
Yeah,
Yeah, she was.
okay.
Yeah, she
So like
was.
I said, there's been very few. So there's sometimes you have to, and I don't think there's been any that I know of. Well, recently there has been, but if you go back throughout the 60s, 70s, and into the 80s, there were no gay or trans characters. And that was where this conversation really started. Because
Mm,
it's like I realize that, well, they need that. That 12-year-old or 16-year-old who knows he's whatever he is, his
mm,
sexuality, he already knows what he is. And he don't have a character. He don't have somebody to look up to. And so they're now being forced into movies, television shows. Sometimes you have to do that. But at the same time, I don't always agree with it when they take an existing character and then change that character to fit whatever they want now. I'm all about, well, it's okay to put whatever character in you,
mm.
but it's a fine line they have to walk. But there was uh, somebody at Marvel, I don't know who it is, but there's like somebody's position was talking about that over this next phase, there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff like that coming. Uh, and I'm like, well, I hope it's characters that were already that. I don't. If it's a gay character, that's fine, or if
Right.
it's a trans character, that's fine. Just I don't want to walk in and all of a sudden see an established hero that wasn't gay or wasn't trans before.
I get what you're saying now. Okay,
Yeah, I
okay.
don't
Now
want.
I
I
get
don't
what
want to
you're
go
saying.
buy my ticket and go find out that now they're saying Captain America's this or that, or
Right.
you know. But they need to get people that can come up with original characters that are unique and interesting, and then and do stuff with that. But it's
Right.
hard to do that. I'm being pro and con with the whole thing.
Mm,
Like it's easy to say that, but my God, look at the failed comics over the years where you only got 10 issues or even 2 issues, and
mm,
nobody's buying them, and that hero just disappears.
right. I feel like I hear what you're saying 100%, and also we are in the era now. It's like you said, like they need to start creating new IPs and new superheroes. And I agree 100%. They shouldn't take an established hero or heroes that we grew up with through the years since we were kids up and into our adulthoods, and then out of the blue they just change him or her.
Yeah,
We understand, but at the same time, it's like you're taking away part of our childhood. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I understand 100%, but this this is part of this. All that is part of the golden era. So now I think it's up to them to, like you said, create new IPs, new superheroes to go coincide with today's era. You know, with the lesbian, the gays, and trans, et cetera, et cetera. So because now like we already have our, like we already have our. I gotta say this. We already have our heroes that we can relate to. Now for them to create new IPs and new heroes and new heroes, male and females, and all that. Now you can create new heroes that can coincide with today's era as well.
oh yeah,
And that way we can have a perfect balance. So that way the old guard, Captain America, Wolverine, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, Storm, you keep that IP the same. Don't just don't do a whole 360 on them. Keep the old guard, and now you come in and now you come in with the new IP with the new generation, and you
I'm
create that, and you can have them relate to the current generation of people who identifies as different backgrounds, as different their sexual background, et cetera, et cetera. So that way, because the last thing you need is, because we already know you got cancel culture running wild and rampant,
Yeah.
trying to cancel every goddamn thing in sight, and they need to go away because they're ruining, because cancel culture is ruining things we grew up with. Like they canceled Pepe Le Pew. Like, bro, this is from decades ago.
You know what? I know. And listen, that was one of those
Huh?
cartoons I can remember on Saturday mornings, and more
Hmm.
importantly, these were already B-level characters that were showing up on Sunday. I can remember
Definitely.
people going to church
Mm.
watching like Bugs Bunny cartoons, and always when Pepe Le Pew one came on, that's when we would go start getting dressed and getting ready. We didn't like it; it wasn't a very good cartoon.
Right.
But to cancel it because he's kind of rapey, it was like really he just thought the cat was whatever, a skunk or whatever. It was that's silliness.
Yeah, it's silly, but at the end of the day, Pepe Le Pew played his position. Like basically, it was entertainment. It was funny as it was funny as hell. And if I'm being honest, if they're bringing that energy towards Pepe Le Pew, we grew up with a lot of cartoons that did some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm
They're
talking it's a few
no longer.
it's a few characters in it was a character in Powerpuff Girls. There's a few characters from Cartoon Network. There's a few characters from Nickelodeon. So the list goes on and on. But I didn't understand that. Still to this day, it's like it's a cartoon character. He's harmless. Like come on. Do I understand it? No, I don't want to understand it. But it didn't make no sense. Like it's a harmless cartoon character that was funny as hell. But I guess to each his own.
Yeah, we'll bring this back around. Where this actually started from was talking about Marvel's next generation of movies.
Mm.
Uh, I'm kind of worried. I don't know that they're going to be as good as this past, and I don't understand why Marvel was so quick to let Captain America go, to let Iron Man go. I didn't agree with it. I'm like, you made Downey that big of a star. You made Chris Evans that big of a star. Now you got to pay him. Chris Hemsworth.
Mm.
People don't realize it. He's on his way out too. I mean, they got a new Thor movie coming out. He's going to have a small part in the next Guardians of the Galaxy, but he's on his way out too.
But I thought he was part of the but I thought he's Thor is part of the Guardians now.
He's got a small part in the upcoming next Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but he's not going to be a regular member, and
Oh.
they're not going to pay him that kind of money. Okay, that's why they want to cast new people and go to new characters, so they can save a buck. And it's like, man, you're risking a lot when you do that. I get it.
Wait, who's this? I'm sorry, I had to step away. I had to cat wrangle.
About the Thor, I was saying he's on his way out. He's got that next movie. He's not even the main star. People seem to overlook the fact that it's his girlfriend. She's Thor also in it.
Yeah, on Lady Thor.
Yeah, and that's great. That was a nice little arc in the comics. But I'm just saying, I don't know if there'll be another Thor movie after that. There might be, but I don't think there is. I think what he's contracted for, that's it. And I don't know if they're going to keep him after the ones he's doing. And I don't think the Eternals. I just don't think that's going to be all that good. And now Scarlett Johansson, she's out the door. She's not going to be in any more movies for Marvel. They're done with her. They had to pay her too much. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, that's right. They killed her off. That's right.
Yeah. Now, you do have Doctor Strange, but that actor is going to be making some serious money. He's going to be there. He's going to take over that kind of lead role to tie everything together, like Stark did, or Robert Downey Jr. in over the past 10 years. There's going to be that actor now doing it, and I don't know. And he's great, but they're going to have to pay him, and then I don't know if there's enough for all the movies they got coming. They're all going to be great. I know they got the X-Men characters though in their back pocket, so they could, it'd probably be all right. And Feige, he's a genius. So I think as long as he's there running things, they'll probably be fine. I'm probably worried over nothing.
I think you are. I think we're gonna see some good things. I mean, I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I don't. From what I'm hearing and seeing from the shows and where they're going with the movies, I think we're in good hands. I think we'll be fine.
I don't know how they pay him enough. You're talking about a single man that navigated, illustrated, no, illustrated, really wrong word. Organized. What, 20 movies, 30 movies? I don't know how many ever it was in 10 years, and 7 or 8 billion that crossed the $1 billion line,
Mm.
and the one crossed 2 billion. And my God, if he leaves, they're in trouble. You know the chick they gave Star Wars to, man, she ran in the ground fast. But hopefully that's fixed.
Don't get me started with that. Shit.
Yeah.
She ain't making any more real decisions there, and yeah, they're gonna be fine.
Mm.
Even they even got Feige. He's producing a Star Wars movie, and
Yeah, because I read somewhere that I've read actually many articles, and they said I read this article not read last year, I think was it towards the end of the year, and they said, oh, the latest damn dog, the latest Star Wars trilogy, basically supposedly they're gonna either add that to the Legends category, or just basically they're basically gonna reboot the whole trilogy. And I'm looking at it like, what was the point of shooting the damn movies then?
well, the man
Yeah.
that made the first of the last 3 movies, and then he made the third of the last 3 movies. I never liked him anyway. He was a TV guy, and he's done a couple of little good movies, but he was a TV guy, and he didn't actually have a plan. He's been talking about this over the last few weeks that
Mm.
they went in just one movie. That was it. And then he didn't want to direct the other ones. So their plan was basically, well, whoever we hire to do the second movie, that's who's going to decide what's going to be done. And they didn't make any plan on how that'll affect into the third movie. Whereas like George back in the day had all 9 movies planned out. And even though he only made the first 3 and he took that humongous break off, and then he went back and did the first 3, and then, but now these guys did anyway, it was a mess, and made a lot of money from them, but let's be honest, critically, they just wasn't very good. That Kathleen Kennedy, who knew? I mean, she's been a great producer over her career, working with Spielberg and Lucas and lots of great movies, but man, once she was running the show, she decided that whole girl power thing was more important than a good movie. And that's what I was talking about. When you force things like that, you ruin stuff. It didn't, and I have no problem with a female star being the hero of Star Wars. That's great. But you can't force things the way they did it. And I don't know. It just was not good. And it shows. But she's out. They've got competent people coming in to make new Star Wars movies. They're just on a kind of a hiatus. The main guy running Disney, the one, actually not the one that's in charge of Disney right now, Kopak, but the other guy, he was the one that said, you know what? Yeah, these last 3 Star Wars movies, they just wasn't right. We're going to wait before we do another movie.
I think they should. I'm still mad at George Lucas for damn it selling his IP to Disney.
Yeah, you know what? I think
Yeah.
he did it too, but it was a thing where his kids had basically told him, as soon as you die, we're fucking selling Star Wars.
Wait, what?
That's what his children. He has 2 adopted kids, or 3, I don't know how many, but basically they got into a fight with him over the money. And with his,
But that's his money though.
their inheritance. Well, they basically just told him, hey, we love you, but when you pass away, we're not going to continue the things you're doing. We're going to sell it. And he was afraid maybe the wrong company would buy it, top deal. And so he decided to be preemptive, go ahead and sell it to Disney, who takes care of the properties, good, bad, or indifferent, however you feel about them. man, they fight for their properties and
I understand that,
but
but what he should have done his negotiations with Disney, he should have stayed on as consultant or
kind
basically he
kind
should
of
have stated in the contract like, hey, listen, I'm I'm gonna sell Star Wars the Star Wars IP to you, Disney, but I want to stay on as consultant of every piece of Star Wars project you guys push for, TV shows and movies.
what they did was he sold it to him,
Mhm.
and then he gave him a script for the next movie that he'd already had written,
And I
and
read that, and I read they threw it out, right?
threw it away.
Yeah,
He
come
walked out of the
on.
office door, and they dumped it in the garbage can, and pretty fucked up. But then the guy that's doing the Star Wars TV so
Mhm.
good right now, what's his name? That did Iron Man, um, the first Iron Man movie, and the second one for that matter.
Mm.
I can't think of his name. Wow, that's
I forgot his name.
someone my age, and I don't feel like looking it up.
John Favreau.
Yeah,
Favreau. I can't pronounce his name well, but yeah.
Favreau realized that he needed Lucas just as, like you said, as a consultant, and he brought him in for that show, and genius.
Good.
And then he
Yeah,
also
I
brought in
hope
the
they do that.
guy
I hope they keep doing that every step going forward. Like,
yeah,
keep George Lucas close by, because at the end of the day, he sold it, but at the end of the day, that is still his baby.
Yep.
That is still his baby, and I'm pretty sure he go to sleep every night having nightmares about that. I'm pretty sure you do.
yeah. And long before he had sold him,
Mm.
he had helped when they were doing some of those early cartoon versions of Star Wars stuff. Filoni, that guy Dave Filoni,
Mm.
he had actually worked with Lucas for a few years and was a disciple of Lucas's. And that was another guy that they brought in for the show, and that was a genius move and great people behind it. And now they got some of these same people that'll be on the movies and stuff. And Star Wars is going to be fine, but they're going to take a break, so you get about 5-6 years in between that last movie.
Mm.
Yeah, which was just what? Yeah, I don't even start talking on that. Let's get.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I was very, very upset how the way they scripted Luke to go out. Dude, when they first announced Star Wars The Force Awakens, I was hyped because I wanted to see Luke. At the end of that movie, they showed Luke, awesome. So in the second and third movie, I'm thinking like, okay, Luke's finna flex his muscle. He finna get back, and he finna get his lightsaber, and I want to see Luke, the Jedi Master, kick some ass. I didn't even get to see that. I was very, very disappointed.
Kathleen
Very
Kennedy
disappointed.
He
did not
basically turned
want
into Yoda.
the hero. She wanted the female to be the hero, and it's like, well, but
I
the
understand
hard
that, bro,
course
but
to
dude,
be a Jedi, you have to learn, and it takes years. You notice?
right, and bro, and listen, she, I understand on what they try to do story wise, but they should have stretched it like they should have stretched it out, be like between Star Wars episode 789, like not like story wise between years, so that way Ray has enough training. She was a terrible lightsaber wielder. She didn't know how to use that lightsaber for shit. I could be
True
wrong, but
enough.
I don't even like her as an actress, to be honest. I don't think she was cast very well, but I could be wrong on that. She
right.
may show up in some other movies and end up being great.
Mhm.
But I thought John Biol, I can have a hard time pronouncing his last name, Boya.
Favreau.
Oh,
Oh boy! Oh boy!
John Boyega.
Boyega. Yeah.
John
Sorry.
Boyega.
Yep.
And the one British movie that I'd seen of his prior to him being cast in Star Wars,
Mm.
Attack the Block. Oh, fuck, it's so good. And have y'all seen Attack the Block?
I like him. He's a great actor, and I
Fantastic
totally
actor.
understand where he came from. How they messed up his character in Star Wars.
Yeah,
That was just
because
a travesty.
it was a travesty, bro. Because I remember watching an interview. No, not an interview. I read an article, and he said they told him he's like, the first thing they showed from Force Awakens was his face,
Yep.
in the armor, and he basically said that they told him, "All right, kid, you're the new face on the block. This is gonna be like basically, yeah, you're the new kid on the block, and like, it's up to you to what you're gonna do, and basically, it's all up to you." First movie was about that. The second and third, it's just like they shit to him to the sideline, and it's like,
Just
yo, this really could have been his moment. So he's basically a
Yeah,
B player. He was a B player and he was a B player in episode 8. Then episode 9, he became a C player. Then episode 9 was just all about Ray and Ray and Kylo.
yeah. No, I agree. It's uh, that's something that pissed me off about the second and third movies.
Yeah,
Because I like his character. I like him as an actor. I like him his character. And
definitely.
then that happened. And I was like,
Right, and
okay.
then right, Gray, and then I found out in the third movie, was it third movie? Yeah, what he was saying, he was like, yo, Ray, I really have something to tell you, but he never told her, so we didn't know. A year later, I found out that because people were speculating that, oh, he wanted to tell Ray that he was in love with her. No, what he really wanted to tell her that he was force sensitive.
Yeah,
And when I read that, I was like, oh my god, like that could have been, bro, like they could have easily, if he didn't get to tell her that in the last movie, they could have easily spun that off into like a show on Disney Plus. They they messed up a great moment.
they really did.
That
I
w-
agree.
that would have been epic. That would have been epic. But it sucked. It sucked, man. I enjoyed the movies. Don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed them, but it was just
No, I'm with you. I'm
yeah.
totally with
I
you there.
I,
Yeah.
I enjoyed all of them.
I
Like
can't
especially
say
the
I
first movie
enjoyed it.
I went to the movies to see it with the girl I was dating at the time, and I was the only guy in the movie theater making a lot of noise because I was just hyped to see R2D2, C3PO, um um Han Solo, Luke. I was happy to see everybody. I was like, oh my god, like yo, that's Luke. Like yo, I was screaming my lungs off at the end, and everybody looked back. It's like, dude, are you all right? I'm like, bro, I'm a fan. Yes, I'm all right. I'm going crazy right now. It's like I've been waiting for this. And then towards the 2 and 3, I didn't get my Jedi Master Luke where he pulled out a lightsaber and started being a badass. And man, I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry, bro. I really wanted to cry. I was like, damn it. And Luke, honestly, the way they scripted Luke, how way Luke went out, sorry, that was bullshit. He
Yeah,
shouldn't have went out like that, bro.
no, I agree.
We're starting to sound like a bunch of sad fanboys now. Let's bring it around to the.
Yeah, man.
It's part of the show.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wasn't happy with any of the three movies. I was pissed off at the first movie because they killed Han Solo, which I didn't agree with. But I understood Harrison Ford was being a dick and said, "I'll be in the movie if you kill me off." He's always had a problem with Star Wars.
Yeah, he never liked his role.
Well, it made him a star, but he just didn't want. He just did not like the giant fanboy problem that you have with a movie like that.
Mm.
Well, and then he turns around, but he loves Indiana Jones, and I'm like, that's the same thing. But I never understood him. But
Mm.
anyway, I didn't care for that. And then the second and third movies were just all garbage.
So, moving on.
Moving on.
Um, so what other movies are we looking forward to here, or games?
Hmm.
Movies.
Game I am looking forward to.
Metroid.
Oh
No,
yeah, that's for me. I'm all about that. I'm waiting for October.
game I'm looking forward to this year. I don't. Is there a game coming out this year I'm looking forward to?
Or next year, or whatever.
Oh well,
Doesn't have to be this year, but
well. Hopefully they haven't announced this yet. I don't even know if they even gonna announce it. I don't even I don't even know if they even gonna make another one. I want Detroit Become Human Part 2. I
yes,
played the hell out of the first one.
God, yes.
Oh my
yes,
god,
yes, yes. This needs
because
to
my little
happen.
brother, because my little brother's PS4 was in the room collecting dust. I'm like, yo, can I hold it down? He's like, yes. I went on the store and I bought two games. I bought Spider Man, and then I bought Detroit Become Human because I heard good things. And bro, I was like in awe. I was like, yo, what is this?
I
And
think
I
they're
played
working
the
on a
living,
multi-plat right
huh?
now. They're working on a multi-plat right now. It's not Detroit Become Human 2. Not that they might not do that down the road, but right now
I
they're
hope.
doing a multi-plat. I don't even know the name of it or what it is, but I remember reading and hearing about them.
Mm,
Oh yeah, yeah. Quantic Dream. Yeah, and it's not their first multi-plat either. They actually released what was that game with the
Yeah, they've had a couple things. It's been on other
can't
systems.
think of it. Well, anyway, but yeah, Detroit Become Human definitely needs a sequel. I was so blown away by it too, and I liked all the games. I like Heavy Rain. I liked Beyond Two Souls,
mm.
but those two felt like the testing ground for what Detroit Become Human
Yeah.
became.
But Heavy Rain multi-plat, but that on 360 also.
Which one?
Heavy Rain.
No, it's
No?
PlayStation only.
Okay.
Yeah, that was PlayStation. Yeah, those three are all PlayStation only. Well, technically, Detroit Become Human was PC as well.
Right.
I don't count that as not making it multi-plat.
But and it
I'm
was
a
good. It was good on
console
PC.
snob, so it's either I don't care what they put on PC. It's all about the console.
It just
Right.
feels like to me though those games feel like what FMV games strive to be back in the day, but never could quite accomplish.
Mm.
Because you can totally, control your character. You can make decisions, and it branches out. And I like the fact that it keeps, like what the decisions you make, and it shows you the branch in between each level. And you look and you're like, huh, I wonder if I did this, or how do I get to this branch? It's crazy. Yeah, I love it.
Am
I
I
love
hearing
stuff
some
like that.
sewer shark slander?
No comment. Anyway, actually, I like Sewer Shark for what it was.
I love those mobile games. I love the Sega CD.
Oh yeah, I have. God, I'm a sucker for FMV games. I bought all the Night Trap, the different versions. I bought all
Did
the
you get the one that was for the PS4? I never did buy that.
what the Night Trap?
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really good too.
I didn't get the
I
remake.
mean, it's like
Remake, redid, or
so.
whatever it was at the time.
Yeah. So what they did because they lost the original. Well, they didn't really lose it, but they didn't have the original code. So what they did is they took the VHS because the guy who shot it kept all the VHS tapes.
Yeah,
And they re-encoded it. And what's cool about that is that they actually added scenes in because there were four scenes that they had to cut from the Sega CD and 3DO versions, because of space that they were
Mm.
able to finally put back in. It's not much, but it's kind of cool. So you're getting a little extra with what it is. Plus, you're getting, even though it's VHS quality, it's still light years beyond
I didn't.
what
They
it was
didn't
back
put
in
on
the day.
Did they? That was just on the PS4. Or was it on the Switch?
Oh no, it was on the Switch. That
Yeah,
was the big deal. And
Xbox. So
yeah, I did it. It didn't come on the Xbox.
I don't know, but I need to check. If it did, I need to buy it.
Yeah, I think it is. But yeah, it came on the Switch with, of course, everybody was all about, yeah, this a game like Night Trap will never be on the Switch from Howard Lincoln, and it was like, there it is. It's right there. It's a pretty good version of it too. It's like, and it's funny too because they actually have the interview. The Switch version has everything, the PS4, including the extra making of videos.
Mm.
So one of the videos is sure enough Howard Lincoln actually, in front of Congress saying how it'll never be on a Nintendo platform. And I'm saying, this is surreal. I'm actually watching this on a Nintendo system. It's like, whoa. But no, anyway, but yeah, I mean, it's really good.
They were worried that Congress would mandate a rating system, and that would be much stronger than what they would impose themselves. So they were scared.
Oh, I know. Oh, I get it. It was just funny listening to watching those videos like on YouTube about just the history of it, and just listening to them just talk about how horrible Night Trap was. I'm like, did you even play it? No, you didn't. you just assumed from one scene.
Yeah, it was not horrible at all.
Yes.
I mean, it was horrible, but in a good way. But
Yeah, it was campy. It was a B movie, basically,
Yeah.
and that's what it was supposed to be. You know, and it's funny too, considering that was like shot in the '80s, but they didn't get around to releasing it until the early '90s when they finally had the technology to do it. Oh, there's a whole. If you ever go to YouTube and check out the making of videos, it's some pretty impressive stuff what they did and had to do. For what it was. Again, this is
It's
just
so weird though, because the PC Engine / TurboGrafx 16, their CD games, and there was a few motion videos on it, but not many. They were just putting regular games with enhanced sound and sometimes extra levels and things. And it was just amazing. But Sega went the other way, although they did have a couple games also like that. But they went in full force with the full motion video games. Yeah, some of them were pretty bad, but I just had to have them. I loved them.
Oh yeah, and they also released Double Switch. I think on all three as well. I got to look it up, but that's also a fun one if you want another campy game. If you haven't played it, it's fun with Corey Haim in it and Arlie Emery and Deborah Harry. Yep. But anyway, that's just yeah. But yeah, Detroit Become Human. Definitely, I agree. Yeah, the games I'm looking forward to really are Metroid, and Metroid. And no, there's a few. Metroid. I'm also looking forward to. Well, none of them are going to be out this year, though. I don't think Horizon 2 is going to be out this year, but that's the game I'm looking forward to.
It might be. Let's throw out time. To me, I think it'd be a mistake if they forced it out this year because that was one of the things, not in the headline, but in the description for this whole show that I put that Sony don't have enough consoles out on the market.
No, they don't.
And some of that information that's seeped out about how much they've sold all been BS. Who knows how many that the scalpers are still hanging on to, by the way. I mean, how many they're actually – only Sony knows how many people actually have – you have to register in your own line, so they know how many PS5s they've used files. I'm just telling you, I don't think it's enough to release a banger like that. It's crazy because, like, the whole Ratchet and Clank, I'm not shitting on it. It's a beautiful game, great. It's next gen, whatever, all that, blah, blah, blah. But the truth is, they were willing to sacrifice that game because it's like that's like number 19, by the way. It really is. And some of the other early releases are sacrificial lambs. They normally don't release the game until
I'll be right back.
It's about 20 million that are out there. So they had to backtrack now, and they're starting to put other stuff on the PS4 because it screwed their whole plan and all that up. So, but then, of course, Horizon 2 is going to be on the PS4.
Right.
It'll help it sell. So that's why I think it could happen this year, but more than likely they'll delay it.
I'd rather them delay it. I mean, it's one of those games I know I'm looking forward to. And I have reason. I mean, after watching the videos, I'm pretty impressed by what I saw. I just hope that is indicative to what we actually get. Because I mean, I've been burned before with not just Sony, but with every system. But we'll see. I mean,
I think you'll be fine on that one because it's the second game, and they know what issues the first game had.
Yeah.
Some of the side missions were really sad and wanky, and they needed to be tightened up and stuff like that.
I was okay with that with the first, only because it was the first, and there's nothing to really base it off of, and I'm like, yeah, at least it leaves room for an improvement. So yeah, I agree. So yeah, as long as they do that.
They hired a couple of top-notch writers too to brought in to get some more lore and backstory mixed in. That's where games like Halo separated themselves from other games.
Yeah.
And,
Halo is impressive because it started off as just, okay, you have Master Chief, you have the Covenant, what's the Halo weapon? But they really expanded the universe, especially after part 2 and 3. It was just really impressive, in my opinion, where they went with it.
And
We'll see what Infinite turns out.
everybody's talking about when are they going to release Halo. And you know what? Microsoft don't care. They got Game Pass now. I mean,
They'll release it when it's ready.
there's 30 million people who's already subscribed. They don't got to pay for it. So you're not going to be selling. Microsoft don't care about how many copies these games sell. They can't worry about that. They just got to get new people signed up and continue growing. They have. So everybody's like, well, I can't release Halo during November when these other games are. It's in Game Pass. But everything's changed now. People aren't getting that. It's all different. And there could be, by the time they drop it in November, December, 35 million in Game Pass. Who knows? I think it's 30, but that's an
If they drop it on Game Pass, it'll just balloon on Game Pass, in my opinion.
Which game?
That's awesome. Halo Infinite.
They're probably going to get another 10 million.
Halo Infinite. Oh, that's going to be day and date in Game Pass.
Yeah. Right, but I'm saying that when they drop it, their subscription will explode. I think it'll everyone's like rushing to it. Yeah, they know it too. I mean, it looks to me, it's so much better than like when we started E3. Like now, it's starting to really look next gen to me, and I'm like, ooh. And I was watching some of the gameplay, and I'm like, yeah, I can get into this. So they're taking it seriously. It's going to be a great one.
I'll play the campaign for it.
But
I think once they drop that day and date in Game Pass, I honestly believe I think they're sitting at over 26 million. I think that's gonna push them past. If it doesn't happen before this year over with, I mean, if it doesn't happen by November, I'm pretty sure Halo's gonna push them past the 30 million mark.
Averaging $1 million a month.
Yeah,
they're going to be over 30 million by the time Halo drops. But Halo could push them to that 35 million. Who knows?
Right.
Either way, it's going to be crazy. That's good.
But
I mean,
I'm still probably more than Halo. I'm still happy for a Metroid and on that OLED Switch, which I know it means nothing, but it's just the same Switch.
Actually, it's coming out at the same time. This OLED Switch and Metroid, same month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
And a 2D Metroid. That's what I'm happy about.
Yeah.
I never was a big fan of Prime. I mean, I'm not going to hate on Prime or anything like that. I love all three of those games were amazing and really great, but I don't know. I just preferred the 2D.
Well, I think we spoke about this last time, but I was watching the Treehouse. They played a good 40 minutes of it, like the opening 40 minutes of it, and I watched the whole thing, and I was really impressed by the little details. And a lot of people like, I don't know if this is worth $60. I'm like, shut up and just watch it, because there's a lot of things like going on in the background. There's just a lot of little intricacies that people are just like, yeah, I just want running gun. It's like, that's not what Metroid's about. And I don't know. I just feel like people are not giving it a fair shake. But what I saw, I was pretty impressed with. So, I'm not looking for graphics or crazy things.
A lot of people. A long time since there's been a Metroid game, so I believe there's a lot of people that don't even understand how great Metroid is. Because some of the newer gamers out there on the market, they don't go back and play old games. They don't like them.
No, they don't. That's too bad.
It makes any sense, but
oh man, since I've been doing I've been refreshing. I could call them refreshing, but basically replacing all the batteries in my Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and Nintendo games and Genesis games, and I've got it down to almost a science now, so I'm doing pretty good with it. And I've been playing some of those old games because you can actually save your saves. There's actually 2 nodes on the Super Nintendo. If you attach an external battery, with wires to it, and you replace the battery and then disconnect it, your saves is intact. Really? There's a whole YouTube thing. It's really awesome. But anyway, I've been playing them, and I'm playing Earthbound and Chrono Trigger, and I'm like, man, these were just amazing games. They still are by today's standards. Graphics aside, I mean,
Nintendo Classic has saves, and you can it's easily hacked to have every Super Nintendo game
Oh
on.
yeah, I mean, I'm not. I'm just saying for original hardware and original games. If you really want to keep your save and you don't have like a RetroCon 5 or whatever, but it's just really cool that A, I found a way to do it. B, I'm still going through these games again, and it's like just rediscovering old treasures. It's just amazing. And I know, like Chrono Trigger and Earthbound are on other systems. I'm not just talking about those. I'm talking about games that haven't been re-released since the games, the days of the Genesis and Super Nintendo, and games like, well, Beyond Oasis, I think finally made it out like on a Genesis. That's really good. That finally made it out on one of the collections, but there's just a ton. But anyway, the point is, people, they don't appreciate it as much as maybe like we do. And that's fine. I get it. But I'm also kind of sad because it feels like a lost art. Like when they do release an old school game that's really amazing, everyone looks at it like, but it's not Halo. It's not Call of Duty. So.
I just bought another a Chinese Super Nintendo Mini that's also got all the Sega. It's got all Super Nintendo games, all Genesis games, and then it comes with a cartridge that's got like 150, 200 NES games on it. Really weird. It was like why they did that. I have no idea. I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean,
if you can. Memory's so cheap these days. Back then, 1 megabyte was like, oh my God, it's like $80. Now it's like, oh, 1 terabyte. Yeah, sure, nothing. Throw it in there.
We bought all the minis that's been out. And, I still haven't ordered that Tato, whatever, Egress 2.
Yeah.
But I'm going to, they're still available. I want to test because I'm going to go, I'm moving.
The only thing about that, if you do it from PlayAsia will take your money now. That's the only thing.
I haven't even checked to see if PlayAsia selling it. I was just looking at Amazon Japan.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Take your money till it.
Yeah.
In fact, I may check PlayAsia to see if they have it or if they're going to get it in. That's a better way of doing it. But I'm going to move money. I've got 3 separate bank accounts, and one of them I don't even use. So I'm going to put money in that one to cover it. And then, because I'm not even going to be here when the thing ships. It doesn't come out till next March. It was like almost a year in advance you could pre-order this thing.
I think we lost our.
Yeah.
I think he dropped off.
We'll come back in. But yeah, I just hadn't got around to moving that money over. At least I have the money for it. In fact, I was meant to do that today, and then instead I ordered that thing off of AliExpress. It says it's Super Nintendo with 4K out. This means it's got HDMI. It's not really 4K or anything, but
I don't see the point. I mean, to be honest, unless it does some crazy, like, DLSS or something.
No, it's all it is the exact same thing as a mini with the games preloaded.
Yeah.
All of the games, so it's like you don't have to put them, download them yourself.
Honestly, 720p is fine.
Yeah.
Games.
I'm pretty sure that's what this is too. Whatever's selling on AliExpress is never what the real deal is.
It's kind of funny.
A YouTube video of, I can't think of his name now, but he's always showing those kind of things. And he had that already. And I didn't realize it until after the fact that was the one the same one he did a video on. And then he was laughing about the whole these NES games on the cartridge. And the cartridge looks like a Super Nintendo cartridge, and then you put it in. All the Super Nintendo games are already internally loaded into the machine. And I'm pretty sure it shows the Genesis games. He didn't talk about that part, but on the box, and then when you ordered it, it says Genesis also. So I'm assuming all those games are on there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
They can be added, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
It was like $47. I didn't need it, but it was like, yeah, why not? I wanted to order something from AliExpress. I'm gonna order some more. Oh, they have another one like that. He's back. There you go.
There you are. Hey.
Yeah, sorry about that. Lost connection.
No worries.
But they got one. It's like it's too expensive. They're selling it on AliExpress for like $400 to $500 depending on the seller, and it's a little tiny cube, but it's a true PC in it. And then it's also an emulator, and it's got like.
Oh yeah. When you said cube and PC, I thought, oh yeah, I remember those.
Yeah, but hey, I wanted to order it. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube, people that had it, and they're saying, yeah, it goes all the way to the PS2. The emulation is spotless in the Dreamcast, but it's just too much. I've got all those games on leatherways without having. I'm not dropping 400, 500 on a little.
Honestly, if you're gonna drop 400 or 500 on something, you might as well just get a lower end PC, and you have those emulations anyway.
No, I want a Mister, and you can end up spending $500-$600 by the time you buy the various modules for that Mister. But this thing looked pretty cool. I mean, it also had like for the Atari ST and the Amiga, and
That's cool. At least it
128.
gives you a whole bunch.
Yeah, there's over 6,000 games preloaded on it, so it's pretty cool. Like I said, all the way through the PS2 and the Dreamcast with pretty decent emulation.
What are you
That's-
talking about?
Little emulator clone thing that just has all these games on it. You have to buy it off of AliExpress. But I was saying they was charging too much for it. I wasn't willing to pay $400, $500 for that.
Nah, hell no.
No, I mean you can get a what's the emulator everybody uses?
Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just don't need to spend that much money that this thing was. But this thing would also run like computer stuff and things. You do the keyboard to it. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. I want to play games. Get rid of all that other crap. Give me just the games on it. Get the price down, and then I might buy one.
Yeah, I'm the same. Speaking of which, I want to get a Raspberry Pi and tinker with one of those.
Yeah,
Eventually.
the 4 that's out now is pretty amazing. It goes all the way through the Dreamcast too. Although there's some Dreamcast stuff that still won't run on it quite right, but most of the stuff runs good.
They're getting there. I mean, it's
They're one generation away. It'll be the Raspberry Pi 5.
Yeah.
Finally conquer all the way through the PS3 and the Xbox 360. I'm thinking anyway, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a couple generations off of that, but at least through PS2, Dreamcast, and OG Xbox, those will all be.
It's crazy what we can do today on this little device.
Well, I talk about it here all the time. I've got that Wii that's got a hard drive in it. It's got every GameCube game on it and every Wii game, and it's pretty amazing.
Nice.
Yeah.
It really is nice. And even the stuff you got from the Wii store that you downloaded, they figured out a way to download all those games to it, and they play off an SD card that's inside the.
See, that's awesome because those you can't get anymore.
Yeah, you can't look at them anymore, and I have all of them. Everyone that ever came out for the Wii on the Wii store, and they're all on an SD card. But I can only have 5 of them at a time that you can see. And then I have to change them out. That was the only drawback to it, but that's not a big deal.
Yeah, but still, that's amazing. The Wii shop had some great games. I mean, they never re-released Castlevania Rebirth, Contra Rebirth, a ton of them.
They sent me a 2-page, and not even 3-page. I don't know. No, I think it was front, back, and front. 3-page that had each game listed on it that was off that Wii store. That's on my SD card. But without it, you don't know what the games are. You can't get them off that SD card because, like I said, you can only move 5 of them at a time over to your Wii. It's really weird the way it works, but I've got that.
You can only move 5 at one time.
Yeah, they're on an SD card, and you move them to the Wii itself. And they appear on your
the channels list.
Exactly, yeah, on the homepage thing, and you go to But you can, but it only work do 5. I don't understand. Whatever hacker that did it, that's how he did it, and so that's what I've got. But it's not that many games. I mean, it's just whatever they sold on that Wii store that was downloadable.
Yeah, but it's not bad to swap them. I mean, I know what you're talking about. Like the way it works with at least with the newest. I've used that word loosely because it's been out many years. With the latest, I should say, firmware update on the Wii, is that you can play them off the SD card, but it has to load it to the Wii first. I mean, it's quick. It takes a second. Yeah. It's just the way the Wii works because it has to read it from the internal memory, not the card directly.
Right.
And I think that has something to do with why he did 5 at a time. Because he did it as a hack, but either way, it's not bad.
It's just amazing though to have every fucking GameCube game and every Wii game.
Yeah.
Right there on that one thing, it's amazing. That's both those libraries are just amazing. People don't get enough credit for it.
I actually enjoy my Wii a lot. I still play it. I'm not gonna say I play with my Wii, but yeah, I know. After
I was a huge Wii fan, and I think what it was because I was an early adopter of an HD TV, and I already had a 360 hooked to the HD set, but the Wii was regulated to an old tube TV. It wasn't really old then. I mean, it was still.
Well, it worked on HD TV through the component.
Yeah, but none of the games were really designed or built.
No, they were standard definition.
Yeah, and so it was for me. It was the last great standard definition console, and with the 360 and the PS3 were all for HD and not much. I'm one of those that HD is HD, and I was this last generation with the PS4 and Xbox One, and even now the 5 and the Series X and S. And games don't look that much different. I know they are. I know they are, but saying 4K is 4K and HD is HD.
Well, the thing is, the higher, even as powerful as these systems are getting, the what you're getting out of them, even though you're getting a lot more, you're not seeing it. Like the returns are diminishing because you can only see so many pixels.
Finally, the promise of amazing AI will finally happen, but we'll see. It's going to take them another couple of years before you get games that were truly built from the ground up. Because now nothing has still been built from the ground up. Nothing that's coming out this year was built from the ground up.
Yeah, it's all previous gen.
Most of next year was built from the ground up for the new systems. They're all going to be the cross play, whatever, cross gen, and they were built on the old systems. And they'll just have upgrades to make them play on the top.
Although I'll be honest, even if graphically they stick with 1440, and as long as they keep the frame rates high, I'm okay with that. I don't really need to have just the craziest, stupidest detail. Like you could see nose hairs from a mile away if you look at your TV.
Hell no.
I don't need that. Save that and just keep the frame rates where they are, 60 plus, and the resolutions are fine. Sure, maybe eventually get a native 4K res, but even then, it's what they have for upscaling and the DLSS. It's amazing. Focus on that. That's then the AI.
I'm fine with those upscaling games. I never worry about that. When Digital Foundry does their little things, I don't look at it. Even in the last gen, they would have all 3 of them on the screen, and then have PS4 Pro, Xbox One and One X and all that, and their PC. I'd be looking at them and I couldn't tell the difference.
Well, I mean, to be fair, it is a YouTube video, so it's going to be compressed.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have them side by side, I'm sure, but even then, it's so minuscule.
Well,
you have to really look at it.
Came out of the PS4 and the Xbox One. I had both. I had them at the time side by side on HD TVs, and I fucking couldn't tell the difference. When everybody was, the PS4 version's 1080p and the Xbox is only 900.
You can't see that. I don't care what
I
people
could not tell the difference. I'm like, this is all bullshit. That's what I realized that YouTube and the internet was full of crap, and people were arguing for nothing.
Well, here's the other thing too. The
Of
only thing
course, because they're going with their own narratives.
Yeah,
right, exactly. And here's the thing: the only thing that I'm sensitive to are frame rate drops. Like if one has, and it's not. I get it. Frame rate drops happen and everything, but there's a difference. There's a difference between a loading area and it drops one frame versus, hey, I'm going to start shooting at a room full of enemies and the frame rate literally tanks like 15 frames a second. I can't deal with that. So if one system has a major drop and another system doesn't, then yeah, that to me is a difference.
Right.
But if it's the exact same frame rate, just one system has, maybe 1080p and the other one like 900p, well, I don't care. Same to me.
I didn't even mind. I was honestly, I'm one of those guys that I didn't even mind 30 frames as long as it was locked.
Oh yeah, no, same here.
Getting to the top of the game too. There's certain Twitch shooters had to be 60 frames and still do, and but like all them Sony games that everybody's like goes insane over in their game of the year. Those are all 30 frame games.
They were.
They're
They were perfectly fine at that.
Over the shoulder camera.
Hey, we were talking about Detroit Become Human. That's 30 frames a second.
Yeah.
That looks amazing.
Yes, I don't have a problem with that.
Bro, I enjoyed that game so much. I wasn't even paying attention to the frames. I was just looking
Exactly.
at the detail and graphics.
You gotta be careful
Exactly.
nowadays because we get attacked for not saying 60s, blah blah blah, and all that. There is a 60 frame fraction that
Attack all you damn
They
well
will be
want.
all right. They'll be all right.
That's how I feel. Just bring it on.
They just read into things a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Because once you start bringing in that type of energy into the space we all use to create stuff and enjoy it's like people like that. It's like they taking gaming to where it doesn't need to belong. It's like they're bringing their misery into it for no damn reason.
Yeah,
It's
they're
like,
toxic.
yo, we're here to have fun. Let's just keep it that way.
Exactly. I totally agree. Emoji's like, I don't know about that.
I just 60 frames. I don't care. Just,
I know.
I like enough frame rate, steady frames. You can't have drop frames and things like that, so the game's choppy and stuff.
Right.
But
No, I agree.
these guys that swear how much better the Randall. I mean, these are people that are beloved. The Randall Thors, the Dealer Gaming. They're just all they talk about 60 frames or it's 120, and I can't go back and play 60 now. I've been playing 120. I'm like, it's full of shit.
And then you get the PC warriors that are like, okay,
your own damn agenda, and you're just as bad as those guys on the other side.
I played 144. I'm better than everybody.
I get it. PC guys have been playing that. My own son flashed about it because he's got one of those monitors, whatever you call that.
But hey, to each his own, If they like it, they like it. That's cool. That's on them. As long as they're having fun. That's
And
all
it's good that the next gen that they've bumped things up. Of course, they always do. It wasn't like they wouldn't. These guys that push that stuff, they act like because they've been pushing it, that's why the gaming companies are doing it. No, every generation there's advances, and you get the new stuff, and you get better. It was going to happen, and just like there will be another gen after this one, and there will be another consoles. This is not the last gen for console. Maybe after that, they'll finally get the streaming where that's how everybody will have to play. There's going to be one more console generation, and everything will be 120 frames, native 4K. They just will be, because that'll be what the next processors do. But that's still 5-6 years away.
Yeah, but that's not 8K 120. Come on.
Yeah. Then you're gonna have that whole thing about halfway through that gen they'll be doing. We gotta have 8K and all that.
And by that time, 10K will be a thing.
A couple years back when I was visiting my son in Germany, I almost bought an 8K TV in the BX over there, but you can't. The human eye, it's hard to tell the difference between 4K and 8K.
Yeah, even at like 80 inches, at that point, you're really pushing it. I mean, it's yeah, you know.
There's a little bit of difference when you drop down to 720p. If you're watching movies and TV shows and things, I've still got in my spare bedroom a DLP television. All right.
Wow.
And it's 720p. And holy shit, in a completely darkened room and watching animation on it, looks amazing. It's fucking great. But when I got my first true 1080p television, and then I would run back and forth from the spare bedroom to the living room, sometimes carrying the same disc to see, what the differences was. And yeah, I could tell the difference. They just, I don't know if it was the internals of the 1080p TV, whatever they did. It was better. But I have a 1080p TV sitting in my living room right now, and I'm sitting in front of a 4K set right now. And there are certain movies I can tell the difference, but it's like, it's just getting smaller and smaller, and on these bumps. And it has to do with size. You need 8K if you have like a 60 foot, not 6 foot, 60 foot.
Yeah, at this point, you're in the movie theater level. Yeah.
Even movie theater levels only 4K. And it was before that. It was 2K. The original digital projectors in movie theaters were 2K, 1080p's. They were just digital, and then within a year, they started bumping those up to 4K. And
the original, you got a point. The original IMAX was only 720p.
Yeah. And those digital theaters are DLP setups, like my TV in that other bedroom. Even though DLP got crushed in the home market by LCD and LED, and eventually OLED, which replaced. What was the one that OLED replaced?
Plasma.
Plasma, yeah. I've got a plasma too in my bedroom right now that I don't even watch or use. Only just got some burn in. Burn in is real, children. It's not this mythical thing.
I know. I've seen it. Oh, yeah, I know.
OLED, not so bad. I know the modern OLEDs have got. You're okay.
I've heard a horror story. That's why I stay away from OLEDs.
It depends on what you're watching, and it depends on the quality of the OLED. Because I mean, if you get like a really crappy, cheap one, yeah, you're gonna burn in pretty quick.
Right.
But if you have a decent quality one, and as long as you're not playing like Tetris on it, you're for hours and hours, you're fine. Right. What kills it is the stupid, like, what people do is they watch like news channels, and those tickers destroy anything with burn-in.
Right.
Even though they're moving, they're not really moving.
Right.
That's really what gets you.
The tickers at the bottom. I've got the ESPN ticker was burning on the bottom of mine. I fell asleep on the couch one day, and
oh no.
Yep. And I woke up. I worked nights, and I came in. I threw ESPN on to watch Sports Center. I fell asleep, and I woke up about 5, 6 in the evening, and I had burn in. Well,
that sucks.
Yeah, that's okay because
there's a theory that with some of those TVs, if you put like an all white screen on and you just leave it for a few hours,
no. I had a white screen you could put up. And it had like one that had like an eraser type thing, like checkers that would come up, scrub the screen to try to. Once you have burn-in, it's burnt in.
Yeah,
and it wasn't bad. It was only at the bottom. I mean, even my living room TV, it didn't have burn-in, the 1080p, because it's a normal LED set, but it's got the white dots from hell, I call it.
Dead pixels. Yeah,
and it's those. I've just gotten used to them. I've never changed the TV out because it's a 70-inch. It's a big boy, and I got it pretty cheap. And the first one had them so bad that Vizio actually replaced it, and then the new one got it. But by then they'd put me on they said, we're not going to replace it a second time because this is a known thing. Because Vizio bought a bunch of cheap screens from, I think they got them from LG. I'm not sure, but they were like crap anyway. And but they're there, and you only see them. Mostly I see them if there's like a white background,
Mhm.
then you see them, the white. But if it's like a dark background, I don't even see them. I don't notice them. So when I'm watching movies and there's motion stuff going on, and I just knew that eventually I'd be replacing that TV with a 4K. And I was going to do that this year, but then I decided, no, I'm moving to fucking Thailand. And actually not moving to Thailand. I'm visiting Thailand, and then I'm moving to the Philippines. So it's like, I'll wait before I get the 4K TV after I get back, because they got those 85 inches now. You can get them for pretty cheap. Well, I should pretty cheap, but reasonably priced. 15 to $1,800. You can get an 85-inch 4K television. It might not be OLED, but it's still pretty stunning.
Hey, as long as it's decent and it
Yeah,
shows.
as great as OLED is, I'll tell you right now, big is always better. And they got 83-inch OLEDs now. They're fucking
Honestly,
not,
the LCD,
Damn.
the LCD technology has improved to the point where
Yeah.
it's starting to bridge the gaps. Not completely, obviously, but enough where if you settle for that, and I use settle very loosely because you're not really settling. But if you settle for that, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm hoping because they got the 83s OLEDs that are crazy high that they'll drop the 77s down to a reasonable price. So when I come back, say a year from now or a year and a half from now, because I'm not, it might be January before I head over there. Who knows when they're going to drop those travel restrictions? But once they drop them and I get over there, I'm more than likely I'm going to stay at least a year. Maybe more, maybe less. I don't know. It's nice to. I'm in a great situation financially to go live over there and have a blast. And all my stuff is still here. My son's going to just stay in the apartment here. In fact, he already pays the majority of the bills. I pay the rent, but he pays for everything else, groceries, the utilities, and all that. And then when I leave, I'm like, you know what? I'll keep paying the rent for you. It'll be your apartment, but I'm keeping all my stuff in it. That's what the rent's for. And I'm in a great situation that can do that. I don't got to worry about my stuff. I don't. A lot of those old, what they call expats, I got to sell all their crap, and then they move over there, and then you're stuck over there for life. And I'm just like, yeah, that's cool. That's cool if that's your thing, but I don't think I want to be there for life. I just want to visit and, bounce back and forth between over there and the States. So, but we'll see. But anyway, when I get back, I'm gonna get a like I said, I got a 70 now, and that's pretty damn big. But I think I want at least
Huge.
an 85. But if I could get an OLED, the 77-inch, that's say $2,000, maybe 2,300 tops, I'd go there. I'm not paying 3,000, 3,500, and I'm not paying 4,000 or 5,000 for the 83-inch OLEDs. But that's the great thing. Except when you start getting older, you start realizing, well, I don't got that much time. But time always makes prices come down on stuff like that, electronics. In a couple of years, you'll probably be able to get a 85-inch or a 90-inch tabletop 4K set for like $1,200 or something. It's pretty cool.
That's too big, bro. I think the bigger I go, the bigger I go over the TV is probably 50, probably 50, 65. That's probably the biggest I'll go.
I don't know, man. I'm sitting in front of a 55 right now, and it's 4K, and it was one of those colored ones by Samsung. I love it.
Nice.
But the 1080p set in my living room, it's 70-inch. It's big. And even though I might have, that's what I love about when you buy 4K movies, they put the 1080p Blu-ray in the box with it, so you get both.
Yeah.
So I'm always like, I'll watch the movie in 4K on this one. And I seem to always enjoy it more in there on the bigger one. But of course, I only got a sound bar in here. In there in the living room, I got the full 7.2. I got dual subs. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. I don't have the Atmos. And I do have Atmos in here with my headphones, which is crazy. But Atmos ain't that big a deal. It's the subwoofers that yeah.
Nice.
Got a little sub with my sound bar, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
Oh, by the way, Night Trap was released on Xbox One.
Damn.
It was even released on PlayStation Vita. Whoa, that's cool.
Nice.
I bought it and just forgot. I can't believe I let that get past. I'll check once we get off here. If I haven't bought it, I'll pick it up because that's just one of those nostalgia things that I've got to have. And I love it when they would do stuff like that for nostalgia and release a game from that generation.
Oh, what's cool too, just to kind of give you another carrot.
Pounced on Zombie Ate My Neighbors
Oh yeah,
and just released. And what was the sequel? I can't think of the name of it.
Full Control.
Yeah, you get both games. It was only like I think it was like $30 or something. I'm like, yeah, that's perfect. Two classic 16-bit games. Yeah.
Yeah, plus you have the save now. It's not like you don't have to do the password anymore, which is nice. With Night Trap, also, they did put a quality of life feature in, which I love. You can turn it off if it really bothers you, because you can have the original. You can have the original Sega CD format, the 3DO format, or the new format. And the new format's cool because what it does is when you're looking at the rooms, it gives you a video preview of each of the rooms on the cameras in the lower part of the screen. So you can actually watch what's going on, and it makes it easier to switch instead of just guessing where the next enemy is.
Hmm.
It's really nice. It's a nice quality of life touch.
Nice.
But yeah, it's on Xbox. I just amazing what's on Vita. That's kind of cool. I kind of want to see it on Vita now. It doesn't, like I haven't seen it on every other system, but still.
Right.
I wonder if
Yeah,
double
I want that shump list from you so I can load up the.
I'll get something together and I'll send it to you.
Yeah, because when I get that Switch in October, I'm going to really concentrate on those old school 2D platformers and shumps to have on my Switch. Because any of the modern games, I don't care. I'm not buying those other. Well, I should say that's not totally true. I'll buy the Nintendo games for it, Mario's, the Zelda.
Sure.
But any third party game, I'm not buying for the Switch.
The indies are okay if it's a 2D, especially if it's 2D or 2.5D, they work fine on Switch.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you're talking about like Witcher, yeah, no.
Yeah,
unless you have to have it
looks
portable.
like a PlayStation 1 game on the Switch.
Yeah, it's not. And the thing is, here's the thing: there are hacks out there that actually make it run at 60 frames a second. It's like, well, why couldn't they do this? On Switch, it's like, okay, well, whatever, I guess.
Yeah, because it wasn't their intention to do that.
Yeah,
You don't know exactly what they're doing.
they do. They really do. Let's see. Trying to look up double switch as well. Wrong. Come on, Google, work with me.
My thing is, now that we've got Switch OLED, I truly believe there will be no Switch Pro. You're waiting now for the Switch 2.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
At this point, I'm okay with that.
I'm happy with it. In fact, I'm not a big mid-gen upgrade guy.
Yeah, because a lot of people think, I want my Switch in 4K. I don't care about that. Switch, Nintendo stopped. The last time Nintendo cared about the power narrative for their consoles was with the shout out to Lemon for telling me this was with GameCube.
Yeah,
Right.
GameCube.
After that, they don't care.
Nope.
They don't care. They just want to put out a product that's
And
gonna,
here's the thing: even with the
play their
GameCube,
games, and that's it. That's good.
Hey,
Like, so
they
good.
spent all that money making the GameCube that powerful.
Mhm.
Then they put it in the kitty box, and people didn't like it, so they got butthurt.
Oh yeah, they shot themselves in
They
the foot.
just flattened it, and there's barely any upgrade to the original Wii. The Wii is just a glorified GameCube. People, if they would have actually did a not mid-gen, but if they would have actually done a shrink down of the GameCube and then kept selling it as the GameCube, it would have been a Wii.
Dude,
That's what. But they just called it the new console, and the only thing inventive or new about it was there was actually an ex-Air Force guy that he knocked on the doors of all the companies in with the whole Wiimote thing and how that worked, and they bought into it, and that was their little, I don't want to say catch, or the little twist, or to make something different. But other than that, it's just a damn GameCube.
Dude, I thought when the Nintendo Wii U dropped, I thought that was a mid-gen refresh from the Nintendo Wii, and everybody was telling me like, no, that's a whole new system. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was the whole problem with it. A lot of people were confused. They thought the same thing, or that it was just a controller upgrade for the Wii.
I
And
was like, yo, what the hell is this? I'm like, this is a mid-gen refresh. It was like, no, this is a whole new system. This is part two to the Nintendo Wii. I was like, what? I was like, nah, fam, I'm good. I'm good.
yeah,
I'll say if they would have just manufactured the screen down in size a little bit, because it did look like a Fisher Price toy. Yeah,
Man, and when they showed me the controller, like, he's like, okay, this is the controller. I'm like, no, I'm like, no, this is a tablet. It was like, no, this is the controller for the Wii U.
not even a sleek tablet
I
either.
was like,
It looked like
yo,
a
I'm
Fisher
out of here.
Price toy,
yeah.
But if they
But
would
It was
given
the
it
weirdest
a
shit
new
ever.
name, so people would have realized it was a brand new console, and they
Mhm.
might have been all right, because the games were great.
Yeah.
And now that everybody's playing them on the Switch, they know they're great.
Mm.
to me, the Wii U was like a testing ground for what the Switch became, and I'm okay with that. You know, because the Switch ultimately is what I think the Wii U should have been.
Right.
So we'll see what they do with the next one. Hopefully, they continue with this
I hope
hybrid.
someday
I hope so.
we'll do another home console that's just a home console. I'm
I
not
don't know.
big on the whole hybrid thing, but
I don't know if I agree with that. I'm
no,
sold on the Switch
wrong. I'll
concept.
admit I'm wrong, but that's what I want.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Well, or they could do something crazy. It's Nintendo. Nobody knows what they do until they do it.
Maybe if they put like an outer screen on the dock or something so that you can see. No, but then you'd have the game on the television, and then on the dock, maybe it's something else on it. I don't know. I just think it's silly because I'm not a handheld guy, even though I've bought almost every handheld, but those went always to my kids. Well, except for the Game Gear, I was still when it came out, I bought a Game Gear for myself back in the day, and that was always weird because you had to sit plugged in, so I sat near a wall socket to play. But and I didn't like the original Game Boy because I always was kind of snobby about the one color screen.
You
But
know what's really cool though is that when you played it on the SP, the ultimate, the SP version, some of those games actually had color in them. Like
yeah,
Metroid 2 actually has color in it. It's crazy.
but I think starting with the color, or it might have been the SP. I'm not sure which. But that's when I started buying them for my sons. Actually, my youngest son, the one that's still at home right now, living here. Because his older brother would get the consoles and then he would hog them. And then the little brother was always kind of standing behind him watching him play. So I'm like, well, I'll just buy him a handheld. And that
Right.
seemed to work out,
As long as it work out, that's all that matters.
Yeah, right up until he was a grown adult. And then I bought him a Switch, even though he was in his 20s.
Did you enjoy it?
The last console I'll ever buy for you, but since I bought all the other Game Boys, here's the Switch, and then I regretted it because I wanted it, and then so I went and bought my second
I
dock.
regret it because I wanted it. Hell no, that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah.
He's like, yo, can I get that back?
That's why I've been waiting for a new one, because I'm like, well, I already bought that one for him and I already used his because I've got my own dock for it. But when they announced this OLED, I'm like, well, that's kind of that's perfect for me. I didn't need a mid-gen upgrade. I just needed a slightly better Switch that's kind of cool.
Right.
Well, October.
Yeah.
Hopefully you can get one and it's not like, the hacker thing.
Oh, I know, because I don't have a big window there. It's somewhere between October and January, February-ish time frame. I'm definitely going to be on an airplane and I'm thinking what's going to happen is Thailand will open up first. Because technically Thailand's open right now. You can fly into a place called Phuket, and then you got to do a few days in a quarantine at a quarantine hotel that you have to pay for. But then you're out of that, and then you have to stay there X amount of time in that area. And then once they test you, and then if you don't have anything, boom, you can go anywhere else in the country at that point in time. but I don't want to do the quarantine in the hotel and all that crap. And I don't know. I don't like how it is. I just want travel restrictions lifted, and then I want to go.
I hear you.
And my ultimate destination really is the Philippines. But I thought, well, who knows? I'll go spend a month or two in Thailand and then on to the Philippines once it opens up.
Yeah.
It depends on because everything's key to these vaccinations. Because I think Philippines just got like 1.8 million, or is it 18 million? I can't remember. It was a lot of vaccinations donated to them from the U.S. and other places. So they're gonna, but when they get, I think the word I heard is when they're 50% vaccinated is when they may open their borders up to tourists. They're letting people back in now, but you have to be a Philippine citizen, or you have to be married to a Philippine citizen and have children over there, or whatever, or have a wife, and then they'll let you in. But for a tourist visa, they're still holding out. I think they're gonna when they hit 50%, and other places have been saying 70. A lot of countries have been saying, "Hey, when we're 70% vaccinated, we're going to open our borders back up."
Right.
Again, who knows? Governments change their minds on rules like that to drop them down. Until it's open, I'm not. We'll see.
Just want everybody to stay safe,
Exactly.
Exactly. Yeah. If everybody would have shut their borders down, and I blame the U.S. almost more than anybody. When they first realized, oh crap, this is bad. This is going to be a global pandemic.
Right.
We allowed airlines; they were landing every effing day with swinging dick Chinese guys getting off the planes, and it kept going on in the U.S. They didn't shut their borders down. I'm like, what the? You can't do that. So, oh well, but
Yeah.
you make us all wear masks and you close businesses and stuff, but you kept allowing people to be flying in, and it was like, what do you expect? I think the countries that actually locked their borders down pretty quick, they're the ones that are in good shape now that have almost no incidents of people coming down with it. But let's not talk about that crap. I'm sorry, we get off on tangents. Talk about anything and everything on this show. Because nobody watches, so we don't have to worry about getting in trouble. Although I see we got somebody's viewing it. There's one viewer. Thank you, whoever you are.
Yes, thank you.
There's two earlier. There was a second one up there, so that's cool. And I think I'm averaging about 15 when we do the show.
Nice.
It's good enough. This is about, just friends talking games, man. Or movies, TV, or whatever we want to talk about.
Yeah, especially that kitchen sink, man.
Yeah.
Double Switch doesn't appear to be on Xbox. Oh well.
I'm getting tired of that. You'd think Phil Spencer would put his foot on these devs' throats and be like, everything that gets released gets put on my box, or we will crush you. But he don't do that.
Seriously, because if they're trying to champion the whole backward compatibility thing, which I applaud them for, but it just doesn't seem. Well, I'm going to say it seems half-assed because it's not everything. It only goes back to certain games as far as Xbox, the original Xbox goes, and Xbox 360.
You know what? It's only about half of the 360 games.
Yeah, and
it's some smoke and mirrors. I love Xbox and I love Phil. That whole backwards compatible program that they're trumping right now, or triumphant how great it is. The truth is, it's only about half. It's like 500 something games that was on the 360.
And
it's
like
only
I said,
35 of the OG games.
I know. And the thing is, here's the thing.
Something. Come on, you can do
to
better.
be fair, I like what they're doing with the ones they are backward compatibility. Like the frame rate boost and the auto HDR. That awesome. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. But let's expand it even more. Let's really go all out. And not only that, but just let every possible indie game just appear on Xbox. They're starting to get better. They are, but they got a long way to go. I mean, there's a lot of games that are only on Switch and PS4, but that are not on Xbox, which is curious. And I'm talking about modern indie games. I'm not talking about games from 3 generations ago. So
Well,
don't know what's up
supposedly
with
that's
that.
been a big thing that the indies are all bitching at Sony right now. So the idea of the Xbox program is doing a pretty good job on getting indies because they don't want. I think they actually don't want all of the indies. So let's be honest here. Some indie games are really, really bad.
Oh,
There's too,
sure, but
there's too many on Steam. Some of them are garbage, but some of them are amazing and great. So you gotta figure out what you're gonna allow and disallow.
to be honest, Steam, especially Steam, you can totally just read the reviews and just get an idea. If a game's good, word of mouth will sell it. It just will.
Yeah,
Of
I mean,
course.
look at Shovel Knight and
Already sell
Hollow
itself.
Knight, and yeah, exactly. So to me, when they say there's a lot of shovelware, okay, yeah, but it's easy to weed them out. It really is.
True that.
I think right now Xbox is still trying to figure out a quality level what they want, and Sony's reached the point where they don't care. The indies don't sell their systems, so they honestly just don't care. If an indie game's really good and it starts selling on other systems or whatever, Sony will pick up the phone and they'll get it for the PS5 or PS4. But otherwise, they don't cater to them anymore.
Right.
And they may that may be right. I don't know. I know they were saying that they were going to do fewer games, but bigger games. But then I guess because Xbox has got so many games coming, all those studios, and I think even Sony's like, damn, now we got to release more games. So I think they're scrambling and to get more games and
Meanwhile, Nintendo's like, yeah, look what we got.
yeah, they're doing fine. That's amazing.
Not bad for a system that is like 2 generations behind in power.
Yeah, it's I almost cried or threw a brick through my TV when I first found out what was the Switch was, because I was expecting Nintendo to finally come back and produce a true next gen console that would be better than the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah, I kind of knew they weren't.
They were finally going to do it, and no, they didn't do it. They went the other way, and yet it didn't matter. They started selling like crazy, and they were getting tons of games. And it is the retro system of choice, and that's what I'm more about retro than I am anything anyway.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
I got so many OG systems with like every game because of like SD cards, and I hate to say pirating or whatever you want to call it, but a dead system is a dead system. And if I've got an EverDrive and I can play every Sega Genesis game or every Super Nintendo, then I think that's fine. I don't feel like I'm hurting Nintendo in any way.
That'd be all right.
Yeah. Of course, now they're selling those same games technically on the Switch, and they did it on the Wii U too, but and the Wii a little bit.
Yep.
But so yeah, now it's kind of like it's a gray area where it used to be cut and dry. Hey, they moved on to their next system out as a dead system. They don't make games for it. So if I can get a hack that I can play every game, then I'm not hurting them because they're not selling those games anyway. They're not producing new copies of those games to make money. But now they are. So yeah, it's back to being a kind of a gray area again. I'm glad I got the ROMs for all those when I did, because Nintendo hunts those ROM sites down, and you never know. Someday they may actually get them all pulled off the internet. I hope.
There's some ROMs that had literally everything, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was insane. I was like, how the fuck did you guys get all this stuff here?
I downloaded every all the way from every Atari game all the way up through the PS1.
Nice.
And then after those PS1 games, it was taking forever to download those fuckers and burn them. I said, you know what? I love the PS2, but I'm out. I'm just not doing it. And then they started But that's when I got the hard drive that had all the Wii games on it, and GameCube.
Yeah.
And that wasn't me downloading those games. I bought that hard drive with them already on there.
Good.
So it was cool. And now you can do the same thing. You can get there are places you can get PS hard drives for your PS2 that's already got all the games on it, and or you can hot swap the hard drive. Get about half the collection because there was a lot of games for the PS2. But yeah, I didn't want to be downloading all that crap. So it's like, but you can get them already. And then even the big companies themselves started selling them on the minis. I love those minis.
Nice. Good shit. Good shit.
Oh yeah.
And then on 10 o'clock, we got 5 minutes to go. We'll end it at 10. Anything either one of you want to talk about?
No, I think I'm just gonna wrap it at that because
Yeah,
I gotta go back to work tonight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I used to work nights, so I feel your pain, man.
Huh?
I used to work nights, so I feel your pain.
Yeah, same here.
See, I usually don't work nights, but we're down in person, so I'm just filling in just for like 2 hours, and then I'm done.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
Yeah, because I usually just work from 8 to 6 or 8 to 5 or 8 to 4, morning to afternoon, and call it a day. But I'm just down one, man. And I told him, like, listen, don't get used to this.
Yeah.
Seriously,
I hear ya.
like I said, like I hate the night shift with a fucking passion. But
like 13 years, I worked 12-hour shifts overnight for Pepsi.
Oh, man.
Oh, it was awesome.
I hate working a night shift because I feel like time goes so much slower. But you're
It
working in the
does.
morning shift, time flies by because you're. Oh my God! Don't get me started on that.
Also, it's annoying when you see everybody else leaving for the day and your day is just starting. I hate that.
The swing shift where I was getting off at 9 or 10 o'clock at night, I'd have been okay. But this was straight overnight where I wasn't getting off till 6 in the morning.
Yeah.
About half those years, I was working 4:30 p.m. to 4:30 a.m. And then the rest of the time, it was 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Good God. They paid me well. Pepsi's a good company. Great benefits, good pay. And I was working in a lab.
Free soda.
Testing soda for all various crap that's in it. But yeah, it still sucks, man. But then I got sick, and then I couldn't work anymore. And I've been really, I hated getting sick, but I'll be honest, guys, I've loved not having to work.
Of course.
And then I got ready. I'm like, no, I don't have to work anymore, and I'm getting healthy again. Boom! I'm heading to the Thailand or Philippines or wherever, and then that damn COVID crap. And, oh well.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting, but I'll get back over there. I used to live over there anyway.
It gives you more time to plan out.
24 years in the Air Force. I've lived in South Central America and I've lived in Asia. And
sweet.
So it's I've been around.
Cool.
Respect that.
Yeah. So, well, thanks for joining us tonight.
Of course, anytime.
Yeah.
That's
awesome. Definitely. And
yeah,
thank
man,
you, for
just me and Grey Wolf. Sometimes I'll put the word out, but usually it's just me and him. We only do it a couple times a month. If anything comes up, it's like anything's more important than this, just doing a show. Right. We take it as two guys talking. It's just pretty fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed myself.
Yeah, it's awesome.
K Mega said he might show up, but he was going to go see
Black Widow with his wife.
Yeah. We talked about Black Widow. Actually, even before you got on, we talked about Black Widow and the whole Marvel thing. That crazy track and all that.
Yeah, I can't wait to watch it when I get a chance.
Yeah, same here.
I'll wait. I'll wait till it becomes free on Disney Plus. I'm not buying that shit.
Yeah, same here.
I get Disney Plus, I can wait. I'm not. It's when Warner Brothers made that decision to put all their movies, at least for this year, day and date for free into their HBO Max. Oh, it's been heaven.
Oh, of course, because
I love it, and
they're gonna get more subscriptions that way too.
Yeah, and most theaters are still only at 50% capacity, and only a couple weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, did every place open up. There was still lots of places where you couldn't even go to a movie theater. So now they're back mostly open, but I'm like, no, it's too late. You done spoiled me. I don't want to go.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually, even before this stuff, I didn't want to go to movie theaters. I was already old and used to. I got a 70-inch TV with a full sound system that rivals most theaters in my living room. I've been happy just to watch movies at home.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't even want to have to wait and buy the 4K DVD, Blu-ray, or whatever. I'm happy watching them on HBO Max
Yeah.
day and day. It's been,
Get a
I hope
nice
they
popcorn
keep that,
maker and you're all set.
hope they keep that, but I don't know. A lot of those Hollywood movies, they got in their contracts based on how much they make in theaters. They get bonus and things, and they don't like these going direct to these services. So I agree with Warner Brothers for doing it because there was nobody in theaters. They needed to make some money back off these movies, and if it was just getting more subscriptions to their streaming service, that was something.
Yeah.
I agreed with what they did, but I think after the year, yeah, they may go away from that. Especially now that people are going back to theaters. I mean, we talked about Fast 9 actually, and everybody said it's making money, a lot of money, and now Black Widow even more.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think as the year goes on, there'll be more big releases that'll end up doing better and better. And I think by next year, everything will be movie-wise kind of back to normal. Of course,
Definitely.
the whole year, I go every time I buy groceries when I'm in Walmart. I'm like, I go look at the movies, and I'm just like, fuck, they don't have nothing. Where's everything at?
Right.
Because nothing was released that 2020. It was a dead year, and now there's hardly anything out. Some direct-to-video stuff, but yeah, they just it's been bad. All right, guys, we're at 10 o'clock. We better call it a night. It's a 2-hour show.
Yeah.
Thanks, Joe, for showing up, man. Appreciate it. Anytime you want to come on, I'll drop that link over there. That's cool having a third.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, man. I have fun, and whenever I can, I'll try my best to swing by, man. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Of course.
The place you're on, you want to tell them about? I know you're on like the Retro Renegades, right?
Yes, every Tuesday night at 7 o'clock.
I'll check that out.
Yeah. Oh, dude. We don't even call that a show. It's basically like, a podcast. We don't even call it a podcast. We just put it like this.
I've watched.
Right. So Gray. So let's say you have 4 best friends, right? Or 6 best friends. You guys just get together with some beers, and just shoot the shit. That's basically what we're doing.
That's awesome.
Just drinking beers, playing old school games, just shooting the shit. We'll talk about like either sometimes current topics or just some stuff in the past. We just shooting the shit, just saying whatever, laughing our ass off, laughing our drunk ass off, just doing whatever.
Hey, that sounds like my cup of tea.
Oh, dude, it's trust me, you'll enjoy yourself.
I will. Awesome. All right, I'll check it out. Yeah, definitely.
Definitely.
Cool.
All right, Grey Wolf, man. It was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, same here.
Definitely.
All right. And by the way, I'm just for the folks listening. I'm Gray, the Gaming Werewolf, or Gray with an E, Grey Wolf Gamer 1 on Twitter, and that's where to find me. Gray Wolf Gamer 1, but Gray is spelled with an E.
Grey Wolf Gaming 1.
Gamer 1.
Grey Wolf Gamer 1.
Yep. And it's the same icon as you see on the screen. So
okay. So Grey Wolf Gamer?
Yep, Grey Wolf Gamer number 1. Just the one.
Wait, number 1. Okay.
Yeah,
Because I see another Grey Wolf here.
Yeah, there's another one.
Grey Wolf Gamer
1. Yep.
Oh shit, spelled that wrong. Give me 1 second. And
My banner's the Konami code.
got it.
Cool.
Gotcha. Just followed you right there. Boom.
All right. Awesome,
dude.
I will follow you back.
Nice. Sweet.
Mojo_Blues is 1.
I already got you, Mojo.
YouTube. I have 59 followers on YouTube, man. I am banging. That's a channel.
Sweet.
There you go, man.
I was talking to some other dude on Twitter, and I don't even say who he was, but he's like, come to my channel, and I went, and he had like 20,000 or something subs on YouTube, and I'm like, fuck, dude, I have 59. We're not the same, man. It's a different.
Yeah, so it's all about spreading that love at the end of the day, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you both. Awesome. And thank you for anyone listening. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks
you.
everybody showed up, and who will watch it later. It'll be on there on YouTube. Like I said, we'll get about 15 views. But I'm ending broadcast now, so